Why is it that a lot of men find it very hard to totally surrender to God and to really give their life and to really pursue after God, right? Why is it that some men, when they come to God, right, they soon leave the church? I was having this discussion yesterday in my Sunday school class. If many of you do not know, I am also a Sunday school teacher, right? And if this is the first time you are watching, if you are watching me, one of my videos, my name is Eston Swaby. I am a life coach for men, right? And so yesterday we were having this conversation, right? And why is it? Well, someone, one of the men in the Sunday school class, asked a question, right? This was totally different from the Sunday school lesson, right? And we went down, we had a conversation, a powerful conversation on wounds and why is it that sometimes men, right, when we come to God, right, we find it very hard to totally surrender to God and to give God our all, right? If you hear some noise in the background, that is my son having the time of his life, right? So here's the thing, right? When a man grows up without a father, right, or a father figure in his or her life, well, in his life, right, and this also applies to women also, right? Sometimes when a man doesn't grow up with a father figure, right, or someone there to give them that validation, right, to give them approval, to give them that affirmation, to hug them and say, hey, you're good enough, right, you can do anything that you want to do, right, you are enough, and give them that love, right, that they need even when they don't do anything right, right? And as men, one of the things that I'm sure if you're watching this right now, right, you can testify to that, right? 90% of men grew up, even if they grew up with a father, right, they did not grow up getting that affection from their father, right? My father, I think my father only hugged me like one, I think I can only remember, well, unless we're taking a picture or something, like probably about one time, right? But I've never told my father that I love him. My father never told me that he loves. I know he does, right? But as men, we are not taught to be that softy, right? That person, that huggy type of person, right? Where we grew up being taught that, hey, you are supposed to be tough, right? You're not supposed to cry. You're not supposed to show emotion, right? You're not supposed to show affection, right? And so many men, from we were a child, right? We never got that affection that we needed, right? We never got someone to hug us and to let us feel worthy. Yes, we knew that our fathers love us, right? But we never got that, right? Just like my mother, on the other hand, right? Every time I get off the phone with my mother, she's telling me that she loves me. I'm telling her that I love her, right? And it feels so natural, right, for that relationship, right? Every time my mother sees me, right, she hugs me. It's natural, right? But it's not so natural for fathers, right? Because of what we're taught, right? And so many men, we grew up without that affection, right? And many men, they grew up without a father figure. They grew up without a man there, right? And so that is one of the reasons why men, when they get into business or they get into sports, right, or they get into career path, right, they are so aggressive, they are so push ahead and need to achieve that goal, right? They're high achievers, as some of them overachievers. And a part of it, I'm not saying 100%, right? Part of it have to do with them associating that love, that affection, that validation from success. Like if I hit that goal, then I will finally get the affirmation, then finally get that validation, right? Then finally I will feel good enough, right? And so they chase after the things, right? They chase after the money, they chase after the success to get that validation that they want. Now, how does that relate to their relationship with God, or really so totally surrendering to God? Right? If a man does not have a strong father figure in their life, right? I grew up with that affirmation, that validation from a father, then they will see that father figure somewhere else. That is why a lot of boys, right, they join gangs, right? Or they would get involved with like the gunmen, right? They can easily recruit them, right? Because they becomes like that father figure to them. Right, because men, we're always searching for affirmation, we're always searching for that validation, we're always searching for that father figure, that thing that we never got if we never got it growing up. Right, and so many men, right, like this person that I was talking to that asked a question, he did not grow up with, his father was there, but he grew up being abandoned by his father. So that emotional attachment, that emotional love, that validation that he needed, take him outside, that validation that he needed, he never got it growing up outside, right? And so when he came to God, right, he came to God because he was searching for that father figure. He was searching for that validation that he needed. He was searching for that love. Right, and so when he came to God, he expected God to fill that gap, right? But when he came to God, what he was expecting, that was not what he was seeing, right? He did not expect. So if you are my father, then that means that I'm not going to go through any trials. I'm not going to go through any challenges, because you are my father. You are supposed to be there for me. You are supposed to protect me. You are supposed to ensure that everything goes right in my life. Right, because not growing up with a father, you have a tainted view of what fatherhood is. Right? And so when he came to God and he was not seeing that, then he became disappointed. Right? He became disappointed with God, right? And he started becoming bored with God and wanting to leave the church, come to church, but not really there, right? And so that is one of the reasons why many men, when they come to God, they soon leave the church, right? Because what they expected, they are not getting it, right? I remember when I first came to God, right? I heard a lot of persons were talking about, hey, God gives you that peace, that happiness, right? And I was saying to them, what is it that you're talking about? Because that was not my experience, right? I was not feeling that inner peace, that happiness, right? And and so I thought that maybe something is wrong with me. Maybe God doesn't love me, right? Because and sometimes when I go through challenges or I got chastening from God, right? I said that, okay, it's because God doesn't love me. It's because it's because I'm not like brother so-and-so. It's because I'm not working for him. Then that's why I'm not getting that validation from him. And so I was always trying to get that validation. I was always trying to be that perfect Christian. Always trying to do everything right. Right, and I see that not only with men, but a lot of women. I was talking to a woman, one of my church sisters, and it was the same thing, right? She was always trying to make sure that she do everything right, right? She was always pursuing after God because she wanted that love, that validation, that affirmation from God, right? And so when I was not getting it, when things was not going right, I started to blame God. I started to say, God, what is it now? What did I do wrong? God, why don't you love me? What can I do to get your love? Right? But it was not really about God. It was about my father. Right? Because even though my father was there, I never got that affection from him. Yes, I knew that he loved me, but I never got that love that, hey, son, I love you. And so I wanted that, right? My father sometimes I was always chastised. So every time God chastised me, every time someone like an elder in the church, someone I look up to chastise me, it brought me back to my childhood when my father was chastised, when I did something wrong and I was chastened. right? And so what I realized was that because I never healed from my fatherhood, I never healed from my childhood wounds. That is why I could not get that from that feel, that inner peace, that joy, that happiness on the inside, right? And so instead of start looking to others to fill that void, right, I started to repair myself. I started to give myself that love, that validation that I needed. And it also in doing that, it helped me to shift my mindset and shift how I see God, right? And to understand that yes, He loves me, not because love does not mean that He protects me from every challenges. Love does not mean that He protects that I won't go through anything, right? That there are going to be times when I'm tested. There are going to be times when there's no food on the table. There's going to be some times when I'm going off track, he brings me back. And sometimes He's going to do that through chastening. But that does not mean that He doesn't love me. And so, as men, when we don't get that validation, affirmation, we are going to seek it from other things, right? And sometimes we seek it from external sources, material things, okay, if I can just hit that goal, if I just be that perfect person, if I just be that perfect Christian, if I just be that perfect father, if I just be that perfect husband, right? And for women, if I just be that perfect wife, if I be that perfect mother, if I just do everything right, then if I just be that people pleaser and please everyone, right? If I don't try to rock the boat, then I will get that validation. Then I will finally be enough. But I want you to realize that you are already enough, that you're already good enough, that you don't have to get that validation and seek after that validation from someone else. That you can give yourself that validation. You can give yourself that love. And remember that God loves you, right? That God loves you despite of, right? You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to try to make sure that everything goes right for you to get that love, right? He already loves you. He already approves you. He already validates you, right? So don't seek after it because you want that validation. Do the right thing because you want it, because you love Him, right? And do the inner work, right, to heal, so you can have that inner peace, that you can have that happiness, so you can become the best version of yourself, right? And that starts with forgiveness. That starts with forgiveness of yourself, right? That starts with forgiveness of your father. Forgive everyone in your life that hurt you or didn't give you that thing that you needed. Remember, you can give it to yourself. And if you need that one-on-one support, right, to start healing, to get that validation that you need, I'm doing limited amounts of free 30 minutes calls. You can book a call with me. I will drop the link in the comment section for you to book a call. If you are watching this on YouTube, the link to book the call will be in the description, right? If you are watching it on Instagram, the link will be in my bio, or you can just shoot me a DM message. Thank you for watching. Talk to you soon.